Welcome, Solar Consultant Network, to today's Monday Forum, October 17th. If this is your first time joining one of our forums or your first time hearing about the Solar Consultant Network, welcome. We are a group of people involved in the solar industry, both residential and commercial, that have come together to unite to share insights in both solar and business development, so we can truly help the acceleration of renewable energy worldwide. Every Monday, we feature a different guest speaker, and today's guest speaker, I am beyond proud, excited to announce. He was very pivotal, monumental in my business success, my personal development success, as becoming not only an impact CEO, but really thriving in the solar world. Because of his knowledge and his ultimate game of life, that's what helped me get the success, the mindset, everything that I needed to truly live life by design. So I approached Jim asking him if he could bring the ultimate game of life to the Solar Consultant Network, to power, to anybody out there right now looking to take their business next level. And so far, Jim Bunch, his whole team, they have helped over 20,000 businesses in 55 nations succeed with this. So tonight, I am beyond proud and excited to announce our guest tonight, Jim Bunch. Jim, the Zoom is yours.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Hey, everybody. I see the claps there. Shelly. Hey, Bill. Good to see everybody on. And for those of you who are not on video, if you want to hop on video, that would be totally rad. You can tell I put my best t-shirt on for today. No, I'm just kidding. It is an exciting day today. And here's what we're going to do. Number one, show of hands, how many of you have done some type of personal development in the past? You've read the books or gone to the tapes, coaching, seminars? All right, cool. So the reason this is one of the most important things we can do as far as developing ourselves is, in order for us to succeed in life and in business, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight, there's some key principles where the most successful people, what I call the top 4%, have in common. And you see this play out because how many of you know people who've done personal development, they've done a lot of the mindset stuff, but for whatever reason, they haven't reached their full potential. It feels like they've got one foot on the gas, one on the brake. Have you ever noticed that? All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about what that is and why it is. And my goal for you tonight is to learn, but it's also for you to join us in this upcoming game that we've designed. And it's a 9-week challenge. It's right now we're doing this live. I know Melissa is going to record this and use this for later, but the game is starting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific. And here's what's cool. This challenge, for one of the first times, is free for anybody who wants to join. And we're going to talk about the principles of the game, why it works. And Melissa's team is going to paste a link in here for those of you who are on this Zoom, where you can register for this challenge for free. There's also 2 paid versions, which I'll explain later on after we do the training. These 2 paid versions are if you want additional coaching and accountability and support, all right? But anyone and everyone can play this game for free. When Melissa said that we'd helped over 20,000 entrepreneurs in 55 countries play this game and win this game, almost all of them have paid at least $197 to $497 to $1197 to play this game. So you may be asking, well, why are you doing this for free? And here's the reason why. In my own companies, I've realized that we can provide an opportunity or a vehicle for somebody to succeed, whether it's in real estate or whether it's in solar or whether it's in, doesn't matter what industry. The difference between somebody succeeding and failing is not often the vehicle. What is it? Type it in the chat. What is the difference between whether somebody succeeds or not if 2 people have the same exact opportunity or same technology or same platform? So Davin was the first here, mindset. And yes, Jordan says consistency. That's true, right? As long as we're consistently taking the right actions. So I've had this major project going now for 17 years called the Game of Life, where we have been putting people into these challenges and these environments. And we've been tracking their progress on a day in and day out basis. So I want to share that with you, but I'd like to make this interactive. I don't want to just sit here and broadcast to you. I want to make this interactive. So the first question that we have, and I'm going to share screen, and I'm going to ask each of you to either, say this out loud, since this is live, and I know people are going to watch the recording, but say this out loud or type this in the chat. And the first one's really easy. This is a give me. So here's the first question. All right. Why? Because I keep saying that this is the game of life, right? But why do we play games? When you were a kid, what was the reason that you played games? Type it into the chat. All right. So,
fun.
Yep. So number one, they're supposed to be fun, right? Okay. What else? Games are supposed to be fun. What else? To win. I see somebody types it in, to win. That makes sense, right? To be active, to be challenged. And the other big key is to learn. Now, the next core question is, we know that we can learn from winning, how to win the game, but how many of you have noticed in life, and more importantly, in business, some of your greatest insights, some of your greatest lessons have also come from your losses, your setbacks, your challenges? How many of you have also noticed that? Okay, so here's the thing. So sometimes we're also going to learn from our losses. Now, in the education system, how many of you went through K through 12 and you learned math, science, English, and history? Show of hands. But how many of you did not learn how to win at life? Now think about this. If the school system takes you through 12 years of indoctrination, doesn't it make sense that we should have a measurable, tangible result on the back end? So I looked at this one time and I went, okay, the goal of school should be to actually help us learn how to win the game of life. But then you have to ask the question, well, how do you measure, and yes, kindergarten would add that extra 13th year, how do you measure success in life? So the core question is, how do you define winning in life? Go ahead and type this in the chat or somebody shout it out, because if we don't know what winning looks like, how do we know if the system's working or if it's broken? All right, so somebody says set goals and achieve them. Tyra says happiness, progress.
Be healthy and wealthy.
All right, who was that?
Jamie.
All right, cool. So for the purpose of today, let's assume that the result that we're looking for, oops, I'm going to go ahead and do this. The result that we're looking for is HHW. All right, and that stands for what? Happy, healthy, and wealthy. Now, how many of you would agree that most people are not achieving that result? If you looked at humanity, there's 8 billion players in the game of life, almost 8 billion. We're at 7.9 and change. All right, so of the 8 billion people, what percentage have achieved happiness, health, and wealth? What would you guess? Somebody shout it out or type it in. All right, so there's definitely the 1%. All right. Anybody else? There's no wrong or right answer here, by the way. So Lisa says 3%. Yeah. So about 1 to 4% are happy, healthy, and wealthy. Not just wealthy, but happy, healthy, and wealthy. So what does that make the other 96%? It means they're at some version of unhappy or sick or broke. So how many of you, not this group, of course, this is a highly advanced group, how many of you can look out at the world and go, yep, it's probably true that the majority of humanity is either unhappy or sick or broke? How many of you agree? All right, so here's the deal. If this is the result that's being produced, we have to go back and say, okay, so what created that result? All right, so we all know that our actions determine our results. And if we take actions consistently over and over again, we call them what? What are things that we take consistently over and over without even thinking? What are those things called? You got it. They're called habits. All right. That means that it's operating beneath the line. It's operating in the subconscious. So if we can get our body to take action over and over again towards happiness, towards health, and towards wealth until it's automatic, doesn't it make sense that we should be able to win at life and, of course, at business? It's common sense. But that's not what's actually happening. And here's the reason why. And this is what we've discovered after years of looking at people's scorecards in the game of life. Here's something that I learned from a dear friend of mine, Bob Proctor, who some of you might remember from the movie The Secret. He's unfortunately passed. But Bob and I and John Ashraf built a company back in the mid-90s called Life Success Institute. And one of the things that Bob shared with me was this figure here called the stick man. And the reason that he shared this figure was to help us understand that we have a conscious mind and we have a subconscious mind. Now, which is more powerful in determining your actions, habits, and results, the conscious or the subconscious? Who knows? Type it in the chat. Subconscious, you got it. So here's what a lot of people don't know is 1/6 of our reality is conscious. We have the conscious ability to make up our minds and either choose or reject information. But that means that 5/6 of our reality is what? Beneath the line, subconscious. Your habits, your beliefs, your patterns of thinking and feeling and doing are not conscious. They're what? Subconscious. Now, somebody's got to, we have to reprogram our subconscious mind. That's true, which suggests that we were already programmed to either be what? Happy, healthy, and wealthy, or unhappy, sick, and broke. How do you know what you've been programmed with? You simply look at the what? The results. Now, how many of you have had results that have been really good sometimes and then not so good, and then really good and not so good, whether it's with your weight, it's been up and down, or your finances up and down, or your relationships? Here's the reason why. You haven't actually changed the program. You haven't changed the subconscious. So the reason we designed this game was to put people into a 9-week challenge to help them do two primary things. Number one, shift their subconscious programming from unhappy, sick, and broke to happy, healthy, wealthy. All right. And number two, to not just do it short term, but to create sustainable long-term change. And I'm going to share with you in a moment what we discovered from one of my other mentors, where I got to go, you know what? I know exactly how to help somebody reprogram their subconscious mind. The challenge is we started seeing people go back to the old behavior within 3 to 4 months. So this is the second key I'm going to teach in a minute, but I want to go back here for a moment and I want to pause because number one, the idea here of games is to have fun, which leads us to, hey, ultimately, I just want to be happy. I want to enjoy life. I want to play to my strengths, gifts, and talents, and I want to do more of what I love. Okay, more of what I love. And write this down, by the way. You want to do less of what you tolerate, and this is in yellow. I hope you can see this. Maybe I'll make this in orange. So less of what you tolerate, and we want to do none of what we hate. All right. So think about this in your business. Think about this in your life. If you did more of what you love, less of what you tolerated, and none of what you hate, how many of you feel like that might move you closer to winning the game of life? So all of this sounds easy. There's nothing that's been rocket science in this formula so far, right? So being easy doesn't mean that people are going to do it. So what do we have to do? We have to start crafting the game so that it's a winnable game. We have to start helping people understand how to transform and win the game of life. Now, we've done this with 20,000 people. We've used this thing called a scorecard, and I'm just going to hold this up. This scorecard is one of the environments that we use in this 9-week challenge. You get this for free. You get the game for free. But here's some of the key agreements we have to make. Number one, that you're going to use the scorecard. Number two, that you're going to play full out and play to win. All right. Now, the only way to lose the game is to what? Type it into the chat. The only way to lose the game is to what? That's right. It's to quit. It's to quit. Now, my son, who is 16, is a gamer. And one of the earliest lessons I taught him is I said, Tegan, when you're playing that game and you lose a life, you get destroyed in the game, what do? He goes, well, I just spawn a new life. They call it spawning a new life. And I said, that's cool. So you just start again? He goes, yeah. And I go, imagine if business was the same way. Imagine if a failure didn't mean you were out of the game. It just meant you had another lesson of how to change the game. He's like, huh, that's pretty cool. I like that. So he goes, life and business work the same way? I go, yeah. Unless you're dead, unless you can't fog a mirror, you're still in the game. You still have a shot. You just learned another strategy of how not to do it. So the faster you fail, the closer you are to what? Success. Now, by the way, is this a different belief system than what we learned in school, where they taught you that an A is what? Good, but an F means what? That's bad. That's not a good belief system. So how many of you logically are following what I'm talking about, right? And you're like, oh, I know this. This is easy. I got this. Okay, every one of us. But here's the thing. Let me show you how powerful the subconscious mind is. I want you to fill this in. All right. So here we go. We're going to play a little game for those of you who are watching here. All right. How many of you think money is a charged issue, by the way, in people's lives? All right. So I want you to fill this in as fast as you can. Money is the root of all what? What's the word that goes in there? Somebody typed it in before I even got through. All right. Here's another one. Money doesn't, go ahead and fill in the rest. You know it. On what? Okay. Money doesn't buy you happiness. Money doesn't grow on trees. Actually, it couldn't be further than the truth. All right. Money actually does grow on trees. It's made of cotton with ink on it. It is literally a tree. Okay, maybe a bush if you want to get technical. But we've adopted these belief systems. And here's the crazy piece of this is that even though you consciously can reject that idea, it's stored in your where? Your subconscious. And if it's in your subconscious, it means it may be indicating your behavior. All right. So here's another example. Here's how powerful this is. Play along this game with me. And I want you to tell me the first number that pops in your mind. Don't think of the number 3. Don't think of the number 3. Don't think of the number 3. What'd you think of? The number 3 until you changed it to 5 or 10 or whatever. Okay. What happened is we gave your subconscious a direct command. Even though I said, don't think of the number 3, it went in. Now, here's why this is so important. From the age of 0 to 10, this is really key. From the age of 0 to 10 is where most of your core programming happened. And where did it happen from? Your father, mother, church, state, or media. Now, if you didn't have a mom or a dad, one or the other or both, whoever was your closest environment. And here's the question. Did they have the consciousness of HHW or USB? Think about that for a minute. Did they have the consciousness of the happiest, healthiest, wealthiest people, or did they share the consciousness of unhappy, sick, and broke? Because your formidable years, the most important years, are 0 to 10. Now, here's the good news, okay? We can transform this in a matter of days or weeks. It does not matter if you've been programmed for 10, 20, 30, 40 years with a limiting mindset. We can change it in a matter of weeks, okay? And here's how we're going to do that. There's only 2 ways to change the subconscious mind. All right. Number 1 is called spaced repetition. Okay. Spaced repetition. What does that mean? It means that we are going to bombard this subconscious mind with whatever good stuff we want over and over and over again. So we're going to bombard the subconscious with happy, healthy, wealthy concepts, ideas, and results. Now, you notice Melissa started out this with, hey, everybody share wins. That is something that came from this game because we're going to develop the habit of focusing on the wins instead of the what? Losses. We want your subconscious to build momentum to identify all of the amazing wins you're having, because what most people do is instead of doing that, if I ask you to focus on this for a moment, I go, okay, if this were a piece of 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and I ask you, what do you see on this paper? Type it into the chat. What do you see? What's the first thing that you see? For most people, right? You see the black dot. Now, let me ask you a question. which is there more of right now? Is there more white or more red on this paper? There is way more white open space, but our minds are attracted to the problem, to the loss, to the things that aren't working in our lives and businesses. Now, part of that is a reptilian response for fear and safety and security. But in the world that you live in, if this is the only thing that you've been trained to focus on, what you're actually missing on is all of the wins, all of the successes, all of the things that are going to build your confidence and your momentum in life and business. All right, now I'm going to pause for a minute and I want to hear from a couple of you. What are you taking away from what we've done? Because I'm establishing a framework before I teach you how we're going to play this game together for the next 9 weeks to transform your subconscious patterns and habits. So what are you hearing so far? Anything from the beginning of why games to the subconscious, the stick man, and how we change habits?
Focus on the wins, don't dwell on the losses.
Okay.
If you do get a loss, figure out a way to make it into a win.
Yeah. So how can any loss be a learning, right? Focus on the wins, develop that habit. What else? Deb says, the heck with the subconscious. Hey, you got one. You might as well program it.
Change your state of mind.
Change your state of mind. And how do we do? The first way is
To work on the subconscious.
work on the subconscious, right? Till it becomes automatic, autopilot. All right. What else? Change your attitude. That's a key mental faculty. What else? What are you learning out of this so far?
Change your focus.
Change your focus. Yeah. You're going to learn.
Change your habits.
Change your habits. Okay. You've heard all this before, right? How many of you know this already? And yet, you know, there's an area of your life that you have not changed, even though you were aware of this consciously. Okay, so this is why I crafted or designed this game 17 years ago and have literally helped 20,000 people go through this game, because I can prove to you that in a matter of days to weeks, you can change your subconscious patterns, all right? The second way to do this, and I'm going to share screen again, the second way to change a pattern besides spaced repetition, which basically means doing something over and over again. So how we do this in the game is through the scorecard. This scorecard right here is what you're going to use on a daily basis, right? So we're going to put a happy, healthy, and wealthy goal, right? So you'll have a happy goal, a healthy goal, and a wealthy goal, all right? Now, here's the thing. In the program, and I'm going to share with you what we've learned from thousands of people taking photographs. Actually, in the old days, it was a fax. I literally had people fax us their scorecards every week. Because right out of the gates, most people, number one, don't know the key lesson, which is how to play and win the game of life. They've just never put time and attention to it. And the school system didn't teach it. So week one, we're going to teach you how to play and win the game of life. That's tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific. We're going to take you into the principles we've learned from 20,000 people. Week two, and we're going to teach you tomorrow how to set up your scorecard. Now, I'm not going to give you all the tips and insights in the first week. And the reason is this game is a giant mirror. And I want to see where is your current level of consciousness about setting and achieving goals. So we will have you do this on your own starting tomorrow. You'll set a happy, healthy, and wealthy goal. The key to this is it's got to be something that you can make massive progress towards or achieve in 9 weeks, right? We'll explain why later. But this is just a 9-week or 90-day challenge, okay? Underneath that, you're going to focus on the habits. So you'll have happy habits, healthy habits, and wealthy habits. And here's what we're going to do. We're just going to track 3 actions a day. 1 happy, 1 healthy, and 1 wealthy. And if you do all 3, you get 3 points. If you do some extra bonus points, that's fine too. But here's the key. You have to commit to 3 actions a day. If you don't do those 3 actions, 1 happy, 1 healthy, 1 wealthy, you actually get 0 points for the day. You have to do all 3 things that you committed to. Now, what are we teaching you in this process? Why do we make you commit in advance to 1 happy, 1 healthy, 1 wealthy, and then record at the end of the day how it's going? What are we hoping to learn in here? Consistency, that's true, Barry. What else? Accountability, that's true. Balance, yep. Happiness first, then health, then wealth. You'll hear why later on. The people who put their happiness and health first actually achieve exponential wealth. Discipline. Okay, so building habits, that's true. Repetitive action, we're doing it over and over until it becomes subconscious, until you shifted your focus. But here's what we've noticed, okay? A number of excuses are going to start to pile up, and you're going to start to see your patterns of behavior. You're going to start to see the patterns that actually at the subconscious level are keeping you stuck. You're going to start to learn what you do that sets yourself up for failure. Now, let me give you an example. The first time I designed this game, I played the game and I brought a bunch of people in as a demo. This was literally 17 years ago. I had an accountability partner. I'm going to recommend to each of you either find one in the game or you invite somebody. Again, the game's free, so you can invite one of your business people or whoever you want in. I just don't recommend you invite a spouse or a business partner to be your accountability partner the first time, because you're too used to each other's BS, your belief systems, okay? So here's what we're gonna do. So first time I played the game, I said, all right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna commit to my 3 actions a day. I'm gonna commit to my 1 happy, 1 healthy, and 1 wealthy. I'm gonna let my accountability partner know what those are the night before. So I called up Phil Black, who was my accountability partner, the first one. I said, hey, Phil, I'm ready to go. Here's my 3 goals, and here's my 3 actions I'm gonna do tomorrow. So I told him those 3 actions on a voice text. And then at the end of the night, I agreed that by midnight, I would have either done them or not. Well, I didn't just commit to 3, I committed to 6 actions right out of the gates. Now I'm already busy, right? Already own multiple companies, have a lot going on. Guess what ends up happening at midnight? I got 5 of the 6 done, but not the 6th one. So right out of the gates, what did I just learn about me? I had a tendency to what? Over commit. With the best intentions, I set myself up for failure in day 1 of the game, or I set myself up for what? An insight, a lesson. Because who's designing the game? Me. Who's playing the game? Me. So I just realized that based on the goals and the actions I set, I was actually causing a stressful game, not a fun game, right out of the gates. So guess what I did? We had an agreement that if we didn't do all 3 actions, and you don't have to do this, but we did, we agreed that we would get up and meet each other on the beach at 3 o'clock in the morning and do what we call the 3 a.m. walk with God. Now, all that meant is that we were willing to take a look at ourselves and say, why did I commit to something and not do it? What is it about me that was doing that? Okay. So I'm not going to go too deep into this story, but I did almost the same thing the second day. I said, now I'm going to get those and the next goal because I didn't achieve yesterday. How many of you can relate, by the way, my type A drivers, that you keep stacking more and more pressure in the game and setting yourself up for failure? So here's the cool thing. This game is a giant mirror. And what's going to end up happening is that you're going to get to see how you do this game is how you do life. You're going to just get to see all the areas where you're winning, and you're going to get to see all the areas where you're struggling. And the cool thing is in the right game environment, we can shift that behavior in a matter of days. All right. So again, Melissa, I don't know if you've already put the link in or not, but again, this game is free. You're welcome to join the game for free. Here's my only request. Commit to the 9 weeks. Excuses are going to come up. Your doubts, fears, and insecurities are going to come up. That's what we want. We want you to move through that in a coaching environment to help you break through it once and for all. All right. So here's the only way to lose the game is to quit. But if you play full out and you play to win, I will promise you, you will transform your thoughts and your feelings and your behaviors in 9 weeks or less. Okay. So Melissa just posted the link over there. Actually, let me just show everybody this link because I want to show you exactly what to do if you came here late. I'm going to click on this link for you and show you where to go. It's pretty straightforward, right? Now, it says coaches watch this video, and here's the reason why. This game that we're running now, this live 9 week, I'm actually leading, not one of our other coaches, but we have so many clients that we were going to run a coach-specific game. All right. And we need more coaches to play the game so that they learn the principles behind the game. So here's what we decided to do. In this particular game, I'm going to do the the 9 lessons I'm about to share with you, but I'm also going to do an extra 30-minute bonus to explain the psychology behind the game and why it works to all these coaches. But if you scroll down, and you can watch this video, it's a short little video, and you can scroll down here. It talks about what the game is, why it exists, a short little video on some of the stuff I'm covering here. But basically, you choose 3 actions, 3 goals and 3 actions a day, and you share your daily wins. You get in the habit of winning. Okay, that develops your confidence, your self-worth, your mental focus, your gratitude, and how the game works. You'll learn that as we go through, but we've got the latest in technology. We've got an app, we've got the scorecard, and we've got neuroscience that's working at a subconscious level. Is the screen not up? Somebody's saying it's not up. You guys can see it?
I see your screen. Yes.
Okay, cool. So maybe on somebody else's, they can't. Jordan was saying he can't see it. All right, so I'll just keep going. So basically, you scroll down, you can hear from Gina, who was a player like you. She used this game to literally grow her business from $1 million to 30 million. She sold that and ended up becoming my partner in the game. She was one of our best players in the game. So you can scroll down, you can do the free version of the game right here. Here's what you get. You get this how to play and win video, you get the scorecard, you get the app. The free version is going to go into a Facebook group. The premium version is going to be on the live Zooms with us and interactive. All right. I notice most of you are not on camera. We want everybody on camera tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. All right. So you'll be live and interactive. We'll be looking at your scorecards. We'll be help coach you through the game. The VIP basically means you want 5 private coaching sessions with one of the coaches in the game. Okay. And these are all players like you. The goal of our game is always to help people get what we call the 4 freedoms: time, location, financial, and inner freedom. So that's the purpose of this game, is to help you break through these challenges and move faster towards freedom. So if you decide you want to do this 197, great. The 1197, fantastic. If you want to do the free, it's totally cool. We just want and need more people who eventually go, I played this game, I rocked it, I may want to take some other people through this. That's why we're running this version of the game, because we have so many people right now that are wanting coaching, and we don't have enough bandwidth and coaches. All right. So you just click on any one of these 3 and it'll automatically email you whatever you need to start. Melissa, any comments or questions on this before I go back to the second key piece?
I think it's been great. And again, you guys, I started out with the free version a couple years ago, and now I'm also doing the coaching version because I just feel like this is what we all need to go next level, especially if you own your own business, or maybe you have a team of people. You know, the more that we can help each other understand how to live the happy, healthy life, the better for business, for everybody, and just a better planet.
Yeah, and I want to speak to that real quick. You know, I make it a requirement in our business now for anybody who's coming into our business, they have to go through this 9-week challenge. And the reason is it is such a heavy lift if they don't have the right mindset to teach them to succeed in business. And some of our coaches will not work with somebody privately unless they've gone through this 9-week challenge. And the reason is, and I'm going to show you in a minute, all 9 of the lessons we go through week by week by week. The challenge with people who don't have this training and this mindset is that they ask a bunch of questions and take up a bunch of time because their mindset is off. They've got the old paradigm of thinking, and it takes them forever to succeed in business. So we've taken years and condensed it down into weeks. And there are tons of principles that are being stacked here. All right. Feel free, by the way, to type it in the chat if you have any questions. I know it's late. I appreciate everybody being on here. So I'm gonna get rocking and rolling here. All right. So, and let me share screen again. We're going to go back into a little bit of training. How long is each day's training? Good question. So it's not every day that we do the training. It's every day that you do the scorecard. Okay. So that can be done in 3 to 5 minutes a day. It's not a long thing. You design what your daily actions and habits are going to be. So you can make it depending on what stage your life or business is in. Some of you need to build momentum. Some of you have so much going on. You need to learn how to systemize and simplify your game. So we'll teach you those principles. But here's the actual classes. Okay. So tomorrow we're going to do week 1, and it's called Play and Win. Okay. So we're going to teach you the principles of the game. That is 60 minutes. All right. So that is a 60-minute live interactive training with some of the best tips on how to set up your scorecard, how to start setting inspiring and authentic goals, and then some of the key principles of winning this game. All right. Then in addition to that, immediately following, we'll take a quick little one function break. Then we're going to do a 30-minute of a coaching debrief. Okay. And that coaching debrief is me explaining the behind the scenes of why we just did what we did, so that if you ever want to become a leader or a coach in these kinds of principles, you'll understand the psychology of why we're doing what we're doing. Okay. So that's 30 minutes. This is for anybody who does the 197 or 1197, because they're the ones that we're looking at as our potential coaches. Okay. So this is tomorrow. It's Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 o'clock Eastern. Okay. So, and that's going to go true for 9 weeks. All right. So that's week 1. Week 2 is goal setting and achieving. And there is a very distinct difference between setting a goal, right, which is just, oh, I chose my goal. And there's some key distinctions around that. There's actually 14 key distinctions we teach in week 2 that we have noticed either sets people up for success with their goals or failure with their goals. So we're going to teach you those 14 principles. And I will promise you, many of you will learn in that first week that the goals you have been setting are actually the problem. Now, as weird as that sounds, we have noticed patterns of people who set goals that actually cause more friction instead of flow. How many of you kind of get that concept out of the gate? It's like, wow, maybe the goal itself is what's causing the problem. You'll know this is true if you've ever started out and been excited about a goal, and then a week or 2 later, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not inspired, or I'm distracted, or I'm unfocused. And James says SMART goals, and that's what's typically taught in personal development. This is a whole different way to look at this. You're actually going to learn what I discovered by looking at thousands of people's goals on their scorecards. And I realized there are patterns of success and patterns of failure, but it's not just the SMART goals. It's not the specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. That's what's taught in personal development. I'm telling you, this is what actually takes place. All right. So we're going to teach you these 14 distinctions, and you will then look at your goals and you will redesign your scorecard. And one of the key phrases that we talk about is your goals are better written in sand than stone. So we're going to teach you how to start energetically and frequency-wise change the goal so it matches a higher vibrational frequency and it inspires you instead of expires you. All right, you'll hear this throughout the game. If it's inspiring, it's adding energy. If it's expiring, it's draining energy. All right, then we go into week 3. All right, now week 3 is called eliminate and simplify. All right. Now, most of you had an experience in your physical environment where you got clutter at your desk or clutter in a drawer or an office, right? And what does that do to your energy? Does it raise it or lower it? It lowers it, right? Well, that's a very physical example. But here's the thing we noticed in the game. Most people, when they come in and they start setting goals, what are the kind of goals that people set? Go ahead and type it in the chat. In the next 9 weeks, what are a couple of things you'd love to accomplish, right? Anything's good. There's no right or wrong answer. This will likely change anyways. But go ahead and type it in the chat. What are some of the goals? And Barry goes, I'm not showing you my desk. What are some of the goals that you have that if you could accomplish anything in the next 9 weeks, what would it be? Maybe you want to double your cash flow. Maybe you want to invest. Maybe you want to cut out some debt. Maybe you want to reach your ideal weight or get a 6-pack abs or whatever it is. Right? Maybe you want to stop doing something. Maybe you want to stop doing certain things. So 50,000, scale up your solar business, pay off bills. What else? Keep typing it in. More self-confidence in your sales skill. Great internal goal. I love that. What else? Anybody want to gain momentum? Anybody want to simplify, increase leads and therefore sales? Melissa's got a goal to buy more land. Thank you for sharing that one, Melissa. I remember you sharing that. Lose some LBs. Master the inner game or master yourself. That's really what this game is about, by the way, is learning how to master the game of life internally so you get the external result. Become president. All right, Jimmy, we got that. You got a shot, man, because the current options are a little bit questionable. Okay, so here we go. So eliminate and simplify. Now, here's the reason we do this in week 3. What we found is most people are setting more more goals. Okay. I want to make more money. I want to accomplish more. I want to work out more. I want to fill in the blank more. Here's the challenge. If you come into the game and your life is already too full, if you're a type A driver, more goals doesn't take away stress. It adds stress. So right out of the gates, people are designing games that are unwinnable games because they keep stacking more and more pressure. And eventually they hit a law of depreciating returns. Again, you'll learn more about that in week 2. The goal itself can become a problem instead of an enhancement. So we actually start removing things that are low performance, low income, low frequency. Did everybody get this? How you design this game is how you do life. And many people are designing lives that aren't working for them. They're playing the USB game, right? Remember this one? They're playing the USB versus the HHW. So you're going to learn how you've been setting yourself up for success or failure. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Week 4, the game starts to change again. All right. So week 4, we're going to teach you how to win the inner game. All right. Week 4, you're going to learn how to win the inner game. One of the frameworks we're going into is this stick man, this conscious and subconscious, right? And we're going to teach you how all of your thoughts have been programmed, how all of your feelings have been programmed. So thoughts lead to feelings lead to what? Actions, and actions lead to what? The results. So if you're producing an HHW life, if the result is I'm happy, I'm healthy, and I'm wealthy, you're winning. If, however, you are producing unhappy, sick, or broke, then we need to change the game. And since you're the creator of the game and the player in the game, where do we need to look to make the change? We look at ourselves. So what this really is this is an invitation for you to take a look at you and how you've designed the game of life or the game of business for happiness, health, and wealth, or unhappy, sick, and broke. And not just to look at it, right? Not just to become, and this is one of the key principles we teach in this game, we want you to become AAA. All right, this is a key principle. We want you to become aware. We want you to take new action, and we want you to become accountable to happiness, health, and wealth. That's what the game is. All right. And it's not just teaching concepts because you're taking how many actions a day? Type it into the chat. How many actions minimum are we taking a day? 3 actions a day. So here's the key. In the 4th week of this game, here's what ends up happening. You are taking new actions towards happiness, health, and wealth, new behaviors. How long does it take to change a habit? Anybody know? Type it in the chat. How many days does it take to change a habit? 6 weeks, 21 days, 21 days. All right. By the way, 21 days, you were taught, you were programmed that. Does anybody know where that study came from? That 21 days? It was actually a study that was done at NASA, and they took a pair of glasses and they put them on their astronauts, but these glasses inverted the astronauts' worlds. It turned their world literally upside down. They made them wear these glasses 24 hours a day. It took 21 days for the brain to rewire it and flip the image so that their world was right side up again. But guess what? Yeah, and Gary Keller's one thing talks about it, but nobody tells you where that came from. So here's the thing. That's an immersive environment. But you've all met people who've changed their habits in one day, and you've met people who've taken 40 years and never changed a habit. So the thing is, it depends. It depends. Now, remember I said there's only 2 ways to change a habit, right? One is spaced repetition. And that's what we're doing. We are every single day going to repeat HHW actions, not the same ones, but we're just building the muscle. The second way is called high emotional impact. Okay. Now, this is what I say when somebody's changed a habit in a day. How many of you know somebody that one day had a wake-up call and all of a sudden they quit drinking or quit smoking or quit eating unhealthy food, even though they'd done it for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, right? They get that report from the doctor that says, by the way, you've got stage 4 cancer, you're close to a heart attack, you are not going to be here for your kid's wedding. Wake-up call. And they go from 40 years of unhealthy stuff to boom, instantly change, right? And we've seen the opposite. How many of you know people who are winning the game of life and something outside of them, maybe the market crashes, they lose everything. And from that day forward, they have something called financial PTSD. It's a thing. They re-scratched their neuropsychology to the point where it was so emotionally challenging that they've not been able to recover and get themselves back into the actions. Okay, this is a thing. So we're going to use both. We're actually going to use music and videos and movement throughout the 9 weeks to get you to rewire your subconscious. All right, we're going to play a game and you're going to win. But here's the thing that we're also going to teach you. There's something in the game that pops up and it's called the 5 hindrances. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go into what they are right now, but there are 5 things that end up popping up in the subconscious mind. Okay. Now, what this is when the old patterns, the old unhappy, sick, and broke patterns start to get overwritten by the new happy, healthy, wealthy actions you've been taking, the subconscious sends up these signals. And most people think that they're a stop sign, when in fact, that's not what it is. You're about to rewrite your patterns. You're about to overwrite the old limiting patterns that you've had for 5, 10, 20 years. And the subconscious job is to go, wait a minute, we've only been doing these new habits for 3, 4 weeks. Are you sure you want to make a change? This is why when people go to the gym and they work out for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then all of a sudden, what happens? They get derailed every single time, because their subconscious is sending up a signal they don't know how to interpret. It's like the warning light on your car coming on that says, hey, check engine. And you go, screw that. I'm going to get a hammer and a thing, and I'm going to just bang that out. No, that's not the way your subconscious works. How many of you are following what I'm talking about? It's not because of a plateau. It's because of a subconscious repatterning, and they don't know how to move from breakdown to breakthrough. And this happens consistently in our game, typically in weeks 3, 4, and 5. But we know how to get you through that. All right. Here's the second environment. Remember, I said we're going to do these Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Okay. These are what we call the training camps. We're going to continue to teach you in a fun, interactive, music-filled environment, 9 lessons. And I'll show you these 9 lessons. We also have what's called an LCG, or laser coaching gym. And there is an 8-step process. And by the way, for those of you who coach other people, you need to learn this 8-step process. I guarantee you that we can get anybody from stuck to breakthrough in 10 minutes or less. I've been doing this for 17 years. I've taught coaches how to do this. You can immediately identify what somebody's subconscious block is and get them to move through it in 10 minutes or less. Anybody interested in that for yourself? Okay. I'm going to teach that in the game. Instead of us just doing it with you and to you in these laser coaching gyms, we're actually going to teach you the process in the game. So you can do it with yourself and other people. And once you know this, you'll never stay stuck again. You'll immediately be able to move yourself through this. Okay. So that's week 4. Now, week 5, this is one of my favorite lessons. All right. It's called the 9 environments of you. Okay, 9 environments of you. Now, here's the thing. I don't have time. We don't have time to go through this right now, and you're going to learn this in the game anyways. And again, the game is free. If you want to play the free version of the game, you'll be on the Facebook group. You'll be watching these lessons. If you want to be on the Zoom side with us, then do the other one. All right. But here's the thing. The 9 environments of you. Now, what we've been talking about in lesson 4 is also another way of saying memetics. This whole stick man means that we are changing your means. We're changing your subconscious behaviors. But there are 8 other environments that are controlling your reality. And here's the thing. If you just change the inner game, but you don't start changing the outer 8 environments, you will not change long-term. You will go back to your old behavior. And the vice versa is true. If you only work on these outer 8 environments, but you don't change the inner game, you will go back to your old behavior. All right. So we're going to teach you these 9 environments, and we're going to teach you some of the key principles, such as everything is an environment. Okay. So everything is an environment, and the environments are all made of energy that does one of 2 things. It either inspires you. In other words, it's adding energy to your game, or it's what? It's expiring you. All right. So many of you have heard, and many of you share this with your people, which I'm grateful for. You've heard me say that you're either doing, and Melissa, I know you know this one, so I'm going to have you fill this in. You're either doing life by what?
By design, life by design, right? Everybody, that's why we're on here. We're going to learn how to do life by design.
Or you're doing life by
Default.
got it. All right. So what happens is, and we've noticed this time and time again, what people do is they don't realize the power of the environments. And here's the final key that I'm going to teach tonight. We'll teach you more about this later, is we're going to teach you how to craft and design environments that do the work with you and for you. But most people do not realize that environments are stronger than willpower. Okay, environments are always stronger than willpower because the environments are on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if you haven't done them by design, you've done them by default, then the environments you have in place are going to hold you in your old patterns, your old frequencies. How many of you get what I'm talking about, even just a little bit? Okay, so in this 9 weeks, we are introducing environments to you that are going to move you towards happiness, health, and wealth, and you're eliminating the ones that are draining you and dragging you down and holding you back. Does that make sense? Everybody follow this so far? All right, cool. So I'm not going to go through all 9 of the weeks because this is enough to get you through. But the first 5 weeks for most people is an absolute shift in their paradigm. They begin to look at their life differently, how they're playing, where they're losing. They start looking at their goals differently. Are they inspiring or expiring? They start looking at what are the things they need to eliminate or add into their life and their environments. But more importantly, their subconscious mind gets rewritten in this 9 weeks. Okay, it works every single time. The only way to lose the game is to what? Quit. If you want to get in the best physical shape of your life, if you want to get your mind focused and clear, if you want to get your wealth on track, if you want to create cash flow, you want to manage it, you want to invest it. These are all principles we're teaching in the game, but we're not just learning them, we're actually what? Doing them. You're doing them every single day. And you can play this game in 5 minutes a day, or if you're smart, like this is how I run my day. And when we started Power, for example, one of the commitments I made was I was like, you know what? I'm not going to build another company. And I've built multiple companies. Some we've kept, some we've sold, some we've taken public. I've grown companies from 6 employees to 1,500 in a year. You all know what Power is doing right now. It's blowing up. Here's the thing. I'm teaching you the principles that I use not just to build game-changing companies, disruptive companies, but to make sure that my relationships, I'm now married 20 years. I have an amazing relationship with my wife and my son. I'm in the best physical shape of my life at 53 years old. I go out there and I kick ass for kids that are 20s and 30-year-olds in the sports that I do. I have a very balanced by design life. And yet I also have ownership in 6 companies that are all scaling right now. So it's not that I am any more talented than any of you. It's just I've learned how to play and win the game. And I want to teach these same principles to you so you can actually apply them. And here's my selfish reason for wanting to do this. I believe that right now, humanity has to make some changes. We have to, as a species, shift immediately, right? Any of you who are involved in the climate conversation, I love you. God bless you. We have 7 years to make a major shift. We need to reach more people. So the reason we're offering this game for free or paid is because I want no excuses for you to say, well, I didn't change my life because fill in the blank. You only have time and money as an excuse. But the reality is your subconscious is the only part of you that would actually resist this, right? Because every one of you wants to be happier, healthier, and wealthier. It's part of our human nature. You just haven't had the skill set, or you've been indoctrinated to believe that you can't achieve it. I want to help you change that, all right? And here's my request. When you play this game, here's my only request, all right? You're going to play this game. You're going to start to win. That's the primary goal, is to get you to win every day. Not at the end of the game, every single day. That's going to be the habit. Then I'm going to ask you to share this game with other people. As you start becoming more positive, you start having more fun, you have results, people are going to go, what are you doing that's changing your life? I need to know. They're going to see it. They're going to ask you, did you lose weight? Some of you will, but your energy is going to change. You're going to have more energy and more vitality and more focus than you've ever had before. Then some of you, not all of you, are going to want to lead others. And this is the call forward. This is why we're doing this. And I don't care if you do it with us or if you do it in your church group or you do it wherever. We need more people who are winning the game of life. We need more people to be examples of happy, healthy, wealthy entrepreneurs. I truly feel that entrepreneurs are being called forward at this time to change their life and change the world. In order to do that, we need more good examples of happy, healthy, wealthy entrepreneurs. The old days of entrepreneurs just being the ones who are financially winning, those are gone. People aren't interested in that. How many of you have noticed that people are looking at quality of life more than they are just money? But my belief is we can have all of it. You can have life by design. You can create whatever you want. And the goal of the game financially, just for those of you who want to know, the goal of the game is to help you get free in 3. You've heard this from me time and time again, 3 years. All right. That means 36 months. This right here is the first 9 weeks. Okay. If you go through this 9 weeks and you play full out and you play to win, you are willing to let go of your old thoughts and your old ideas and your old concepts, I will promise you that your life will look different in 9 weeks. All right. From there, how do you get financially free? It's super, super simple. The formula is this. Your passive income needs to be what? Greater than your monthly expense. That's it. What does that mean? That means that if your monthly expense is $10K a month, from whatever your vehicle is, and I know some of you are in the power vehicle, some of you have different vehicles, whatever, as long as you're at $10,001 of recurring income, you are free. All right. Now you can lower your expenses. You can increase your cash flow. We'll teach these principles, and I'll teach you the 9 key principles to happiness, health, and wealth. There's 3 in each one. And when you understand the formula of how to win the game of life, then the only question is, can you play the game? It's that simple, right? So we're going to take you through this. It will change the way you look at life. I promise you this, and you're going to have an absolute blast in this game. Okay. So I think we've done everything. I'm going to recap this, and then we're going to call it good for today. Here's how this game is played. All right. Here's the commitment in this next 9 weeks. All right. You're going to show up and play full out and play to win. We're going to show up and help you transform your life and business. All right. So here's my request, because I want you to know the rules to the game. All right. Number 1, you're going to use a scorecard. Okay. Now, some of you are going to be super excited about this. You're going to absolutely crush it. And some of you are going to have resistance. I will help you through the resistance. Okay. All right. I will help you through the resistance. And Jeff is asking, what's the secret for a happy and long-term marriage? Have 2 happy people. It's that simple. If you are not happy personally, how can you bring happiness to a marriage? Right? If you know who you are, you know your strengths, gifts, and talents, and you know your shortcomings, and you know theirs and they know yours, it's easy. I often say this. My wife is one of the happiest people on the planet. My job is just not to screw that up. Right? It's super simple. Okay. Now, and then she threw out the second thing: never be in a bad mood on the same day. So she can have a day, or I can have a day, but not in the same day. Okay. We'll give you more of those fun tips later. All right. So number 1, use the scorecard. All right. We're going to help you with your scorecard, but you basically need to just take 3 actions a day. Make them super simple at the beginning, right? If you overachieve, that's fantastic, right? So you're going to take those 3 actions and you're going to share those. We'll teach you tomorrow how you share those in our app. All right. All you're going to do is take a photograph of your scorecard, post it into the app. We have a private app for the players in the game. Okay. So that's number 1, is the scorecard. Number 2, as I just mentioned, is you're going to share those in the Ultimate Life app. So once you've registered, we'll set you up with all these tools. But basically, we're going to share our wins. You're going to connect with the community. And the community is made up of other players, other entrepreneurs, and our coaches and our team. Okay. So the goal here is to create an inspiring environment where everybody gets in the habit of winning. All right. Sharing wins. Now, what this is not an opportunity for you to pitch whatever your side hustle is. All right. Everybody's got a main and a side hustle. That is not the goal of the game. The goal of the game here is for you to play your game and to play full out and play to win, have a massive breakthrough, and to close out this year strong. That's what we're doing. All right. So here's the other thing that we're going to ask you to do is we're going to ask you to show up to the 9 training camps. Okay. Now, if you're doing the free one, That'll be on Facebook. If you're doing the 197 or 1197, you'll be with us on the Zooms. Okay. And that way we can interact with you there. All right. That's the number one thing, is the 9 training camps. And that's those lessons that I just walked you through, right? Weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And by the way, after each lesson, not before, but after each lesson, you're going to get a module. All right. Now this is my binder, and there's 9 modules in here. So you can literally print these out and go through and read all these insights. I created each module so that you could read it and go, oh, wow, those are amazing distinctions about the game, right? So you get that as part of it. 9 training camps and 9 laser coaching gyms. Okay, these laser coaching gyms are the breakthroughs. And what happens is you can either submit a coaching request for help, like, hey, I'm stuck, or I'm confused, or I'm overwhelmed, or I can't figure out how to design this, or whatever it is. And we will coach one-on-one, and everybody else will be able to listen. Now, a lot of our players are like, man, I got so much more out of just listening than being on the hot seat. But this is where we do this 10-minute process to get somebody from confused or stuck or frustrated immediately into breakthrough. All right. So you want to learn this for your teams. Okay. So that's the other piece. And then, as I mentioned, this is a special class that we're doing. I've never done this before, is we're doing this thing called the Coach's Corner. And the Coach's Corner is where I'm going to teach all of the tools of what's happening behind the game and all of the strategies. Right? There's a lot that happens in every one of these things. And I've designed this over 17 years to have a massively high success rate. By the way, just so you know, the success rate of people in personal development who reach their goals is 4%. 4% of the people, when they start a program, actually achieve their goals. That means that we have a 96% failure rate. Okay. Now, to date, we are tracking of people setting and achieving their goals, a 78% success rate in achieving their goals. 78% instead of 4%. Okay. 78% instead of 4%. And then I'll share with you what's happening to that other 22%. Okay. You'll learn that through the game. But here's the simple reality. This is probably one of the most powerful ways that you can transform your life in this next 9 weeks and close out this year and have an absolute blast. All right. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to answer any questions. I know some people go, well, hey, can I invite a friend, or can I invite somebody from my team or company or whatever? The answer is yes. They just have to watch this. Okay. They can start tomorrow and just come on to lesson 1 with us. Right. And then go watch this later. We will only allow people into the game because this one's running live. We also have an evergreen version, but this is a live game. I'm leading this game. All right. So a lot of times my coaches are doing this, but I'm actually leading this game. So if you have anybody else that you want to play, feel free to bring them into the game. You can give them the link that was added in here, and you can bring them in. My only request is that you tell them that they need to commit. They can opt in or out of the game in the first week. All right. But we're going to set up some dynamics and rules in week 1, and we will allow people in until the start of week 2. Right. So that's it. After that, nobody else is in, because now it starts to get real. All of your stuff starts showing up. All of your breakthroughs start happening. And we as a team are helping everybody, meaning all of us are helping everybody play and win this game. Okay. All right, Melissa, I'm going to pause. We're 8 minutes past the hour. Comments, questions, feedback?
That was great. Everybody, do you see the link if you want to get started? Leslie has posted it in the chat bar. Huge thank you to Jim for jumping on here with the Solar Consultant Network to help us here with some personal and business and health and wealth development. I mean, I hope you guys see as much value in it as the rest of us do, because it's really been game changer for a lot of us in the industry. And I'm really excited to see each one of you take your skill set here to the next level. So thank you, Jim. Any last minute questions specifically that anybody might have that they want to type in the chat bar or come on out off of mute and ask?
I see
Yeah,
some
this
stuff.
is Jimmy Aronara, James. I have a quick question. If I join for free, since I've never done this before, and I decide I want to go and get into the laser focus and everything. And can I change in the middle and pay the 197, or how does that work?
Yeah, I'd recommend you go, if you're considering it, do the first
Let's do
week.
it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course, just do it. I'm going to say that, right? but you'll know in that first week if this environment's for you. Tomorrow morning, it's going to be fun. We use energy and music in that, but we're
Okay.
teaching. And then your game starts at 10 a.m. tomorrow. You've got your scorecard set up and you're taking your actions. So, that first week is typically when most people who are kind of, sitting on the fence go, yep, I'm in.
Yeah, I should just be in, but thank you.
Well, I'll share with you one of the principles we teach in the game. And this is about life. 99% is hard. 100% is easy. 99% is hard. 100% is easy. If you're 99% committed to a relationship or 99% committed to a business, that is hard. But 100%, always easy, because you're all in. And we'll teach you the spiritual, intellectual, and emotional and physical reason why that is in the game.
Okay. Yeah, I signed up for free. I guess I'll go back and just pay the money and sign up for everything. Thank you.
Yeah, and by the way, we offer a refund. If anybody comes in, and not for quitting, right? If you quit, you got your lesson, and we'll help you process that lesson, right? But if you get in and you're like, you know what, whatever, I thought it was this and whatever, I have no challenge with that.
Understood. Thank you.
You got it.
I'm going to quickly tell my little story real fast here for all of you that are on the fence. So when I did this version, God, I think it might have been 4 years ago, and we did meet daily or weekly on the Zooms. Melissa drank a lot, ate a lot of food, was unhealthy, worked for corporate America, and was grinding 80 hours a week working. I was living life by default. I was not living life by design. Fast forward to today, I am 35 pounds lighter. I do not drink. I look at my body as a temple. Everything I put in it is organic and wholesome because I have rechanged my subconscious. I now live in my dream home, looking out at a beautiful lake where I am inspired to help others every day grow their business. My passive has well exceeded what I made in corporate America. And it's really absolutely living a life by design, not by default. And that is because of Jim Bunch. That's why I ask him to come here and help all of you, because the biggest struggle I see with people is that they're not happy, healthy, and they don't know how to achieve their dreams. And it's because their subconscious is blocked. And it makes me sad. And I want people to unlock that subconscious, because there's no difference between my subconscious, Jim's subconscious, Shelly's subconscious, Leslie's, where we can all rewire it. We all have the same capabilities. We just have to learn as humans how to do that. So thank you, Jim.
And Melissa is an absolute testimonial to doing the work. Like, you got to show up and you got to play. And if you do that and you lean in and you listen to your stories, you listen to your excuses, and then you choose the higher frequency, you're going to win. And what she also slipped in there is, I live in my dream home, my dream house, right? You're going to understand the power of environments. And we have a guy who's in our game. He played it. I think he started the game maybe a year ago, something like that. And he was literally living in a basement, a dark basement with mold, not a lot of natural light, for 27 years. And as a result of the game, he started realizing, wait a second, this is why I'm struggling in my business, because the environment is draining me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So Melissa, like a lot of people, you'll start to get inspired to live in an ultimate environment. And we'll work with you on your outer environments and your inner ones. And I know some of you are like, yeah, I'd love to live where you guys live, but I don't have the cash flow. That's a belief. There's unlimited amount of money out there. Our governments have printed more money in the last few years than we have in decades before that, right? So I'm going to do a little tour, because I do life by design too, and I'll show you everything about my environment. This is how my environment's set up, right? So I'm looking out at the ocean. I'll take you out there now. We live in San Diego, California, but this is by design, right? So the reason that I live here is because this inspires me. I'm a surfer. And I recognize that when I'm living in a place that doesn't inspire me, I don't build the same kind of companies. I don't inspire the same kind of people. So I want you to create wealth and abundance. I want you to stop buying into the belief that you don't have the time, the money, the energy. That's old programming. And I promise you, at 9 weeks, you will be a different human. 3 actions a day. Show up for the training camps and the laser coaching gyms and just let the game work on you. It works every single time. And we have people like Melissa and Gina, they're in the game. You're going to get to watch their game. Now, they're going to be maybe in some cases at a little bit different level. Okay. They'll be at a different level because the game changes as you evolve. As you get better and better at playing the game, you're going to change your scorecard. You're going to change your goals. You know, Melissa just told me her goal of buying that other piece of property. And the moment she said it, I could hear the frequency. She's inspired by that. I know it's going to happen in the game. Right. And Melissa, what was it? 200 and something thousand you told me?
It's 250,000 is what I think I can secure it for. And so for me, I figured that out. I have to do 10 sharings a day. So that's like whether it's sharing a power business, some sort of solar business, or selling solar. But if I have 10 conversations a day, I should easily be able to hit that goal in the next year.
Nice. I love it. And I know she's going to hit it because she understands how to play and win the game. And you've got an incredible vehicle with multiple ways to hit that. Whereas in the past, that belief, oh, I'm not sure if I can do this, 99% may have kept somebody from that. All right. So any questions about, yes, when you sign up, you will get the link for tomorrow. And again, everybody who's free, you'll go to the Facebook group. We're going to live stream into the Facebook group. Everybody who is on the paid side, you'll be in the live Zoom, and you'll also have access to the coaches 30 minutes. So it'll be 60 minutes of the training camp, and then an extra 30 minutes on the coaching tools of what's happening in that 1 hour. It's all being recorded. So if you have to miss one or whatever, that's fine. I also encourage you to go back and listen to these in high speed later, because I'm going to be teaching at 4 different levels tomorrow. I'm going to teach at what we call repair and recovery for those people who are in debt, those people who might have some physical health things or might have some happiness issues. The second level of the game is called foundation. This is the habit section. The third level is called reserves. You have an abundance of time, money, and energy. The fourth level is called mastery. And mastery is where you are the architect and the designer and the player of the game. I will be teaching the game at all of those levels. You're probably only going to be able to hear the level at which you're currently at. So if you're in repair and recovery, some of the mastery concepts you just won't grasp. If you're at mastery, you're going to see all the dynamics happening in this game. So I will be teaching this whole course full on. I'm not holding anything back. You're going to hear stuff that even my coaches haven't heard before, because I want 100,000 people to go through this game next year so that we can impact millions of people the following year and hundreds of millions of people the following year after that. We're designing some new technology. We're creating the game so that it's viral, so you can share it with other people. All this is happening, and it's simply to raise the frequency of humanity so that we don't have such a hard job in the rest of our sustainable business ventures, whether it's in solar, whether it's in banking, whether it's in agriculture, all these things that we know have to shift. We have to shift this before any of that stuff is going to sustain. Cool.
That's great. So who is ready to start living their life by designs? Say you're in. Your game on. You're in. Are you in?
100% I'm in.
You're in. Great. Well, thank you so much, Jim Bunch. It's been a pleasure. Everyone, this will be posted in the Solar Consultant Network YouTube channel and the Facebook group. We're excited to have everybody on. Bye, everyone.
Bye for now.